go again.
Excellent!
I demand more!
89.7 WTBR FM. Pittsfield.
Welcome to Ham on WTBR, the all-inclusive ham radio show for hams and non-hams alike. Be part of the show. Contact us on www.facebook.com/HamJamTV. And now the hosts of the show, Peter and Jessica. Ham on.
And here we are.
Morning, everybody. It's another Wednesday. Yay!
Yeah, I think we need to update the opening now because it's Peter, Jessica, and Susie is here again with us hanging out.
That's right. I'm sitting
Welcome
in.
back.
Thank you so much, Jessica and Peter.
Gentlemen,
Thanks for having me.
You're 3.5 inches down in South County, according to the news this morning.
Yeah, it was intense. It was intense. It was a heavy, wet snow. It knocked down a lot of foliage in my backyard.
Oh, wow. Surprisingly, we had a light powder snow here in Pittsfield.
Interesting.
It's funny how different counties have different types of snow.
This is true.
Really weird.
I'm in Housatonic, and we tend to get a little more intense weather than other areas by a small bit.
And I thought Pittsfield was crazy with its wind and rain and everything during the fall. Oh, my goodness. I swear, I thought we were going to have to build the Ark a couple of times.
We did build the Ark, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, as soon as I find what I'm looking for. Big show today.
Really big shoe.
Really big shoe. We're going to talk about the cell phone ban that's coming up in February of 2020 and how that affects not only Massachusetts but the ham operators that will be involved in that. And then on phone... Well, kind of in studio, but on the phone from New Hampshire will be John K1UAF, who is not our section manager, but who is the section manager for New Hampshire.
It's a big job.
Big job, and we're going to find out what he has to do. In fact, newly appointed section manager for New Hampshire.
Exactly. So he's fresh in the job. We're gonna find out.
We're gonna break him in early.
We're gonna break him in early. Yeah.
You guys are horrible.
I can't wait.
And that what a fun sound means news time, which means put Jessica on the spot. Put Jessica on the spot. Lord help me now. Dayton Ham Fest is increasing the cost of admission and booth fees. Wonderful.
Well, what kind of an increase are we talking about?
I'll get to...
You'll get to that. Okay.
I mentioned General Chair Jack Gerbs, WBASCT, announces this weekend that general admission will be raised by $4 per ticket to $26. It was originally $4.
Wow. That's
by
that's
$4
a ticket.
Yeah, it was raised by $4 per ticket, so it's $4. So it's $4 per ticket. To 26 in advance, or 31 at the gate for all 3 days. So for a little extra, you can go ahead and go, hey, I want to do all 3 days instead of just one.
Is this a particularly large ham fest?
Dayton Ham Fest?
It is the biggest.
It's the biggest ham fest around.
Do you go?
No.
Oh.
No, because to do the Dayton Ham Fest, you have to do all 3 days.
Okay.
Get hotel accommodations, but there's a lot of people.
Is it like the Burning Man of the ham community?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they come from across the world to come to this ham fest.
Must be awesome.
The cost of the flea market spots will go up $5 $5 per space. Inside exhibitors will pay $30 more.
Oh, that doesn't seem like too much of a hardship.
No, not really. Hamvention has always strived to produce a very high-quality event for amateur radio enthusiasts from around the globe, Gerb said. We have always felt is imperative.
Imperative.
I can't
It's all right.
freaking read today. Wonderful.
Apparently. Live radio, folks.
That's right. Imperative.
We give imperative that we give back to amateur radio on so many levels. We have been very generous in our support over the years. Gerb cited the economic pressures to present a show like Ham Nation as the reason for the price increase. So inflation, wonderful. The Hamvention executive team is asking for your support and understanding as we move forward together. That is the last statement. Let me see. Also, to add on to the Ham Nation news, the theme of this 2020 Dayton Hamvention will be Amateur Radio: The Future.
Oh.
Hamvention chairperson will be Jack again. Is inviting Hamvention attendees to celebrate our amateur radio's past, present, and future. As amateur radio operators, we enjoy many modes of operating. We also enjoy challenges such as satellite communications, moon bounce, meteor scatter, and more. What truly excites me about our hobby is diversity in these modes and the fact that as we move to the future, we will enjoy the technology. We still enjoy the technologies of the past. Gerb noted that Hamvention has long been a place to find vintage parts, yay, and gear, and to see the latest technology. The theme acknowledged the role that amateur radio has always played and will continue to play in the future of communication developments. Hamvention said, acknowledging the contributions of many hams who actively work on new ideas, equipment designs, and software to improve electronic communication. Hamvention 2020 takes place May 15th and the 17th at the Greene County Fairgrounds and Expo Center in Xenia, Ohio.
Thank you very much. Dayton Hamvention, they start making the ham operators start making plans for that like right now. So
that's right, and they have events posted on hamvention.org.
There you go.
It looks like, so if you need more information, hamvention.org would be a place to visit.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Now on to Western Mass and Massachusetts stuff here. Beginning February 23rd, my birthday, 2020, Mass drivers can only use mobile devices in hands-free mode. Previously, drivers 18 and older were allowed to talk on phones while driving, so long as one hand remained on the wheel at all times, and providing that the device not interfere with driving. For those under 18, any use of the mobile phone while driving, even just for talking, has been prohibited. The use of mobile phone electronic device by junior operators comes with a $100 first offense penalty and a 60-day license suspension and attitudinal course requirement.
Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Ouch. So that's a first offense, all of those?
For the junior operators.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense.
In November 2019, Governor Charlie Baker signed a hands-free driving bill into law. The bill is titled an act requiring the hands-free use of mobile telephones while driving. Per the new law, anybody operating a motor vehicle cannot touch or hold a mobile electronic device except to perform a single tap or swipe to activate, deactivate, or initiate hands-free mode. The law allows talking, texting, and other tasks to be completed via voice command. Only certain emergency exceptions apply. So that's the law as of February 23rd. And how does it affect the ham community? Wait, I'm going to tell you. Hold your questions till the end.
Excellent. Okay.
I was going to make another comment. So
she's jumping in anyway.
Yeah. So in that case, unless it's the end of the world and it's the freaking apocalypse, don't touch your phone while you're driving.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right. It took a while for Massachusetts to catch up to other
New York did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So the outpouring of concern statewide from amateur radio community regarding the impact of the distracted driving law has gotten the attention of our legislators on Beacon Hill and Boston. Ray, KB1LRL, and Tom, K1TW, wish to thank all of the ARRL members in both Western and Eastern Mass who communicated our concerns so effectively as a community to the senators and representatives and staff across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Last week, Tom, K1TW, Eastern Mass Section Manager, was contacted by the General Counsel of the Joint Committee on Transportation. After discussing these concerns, Ray and Tom were asked to convey the following guidance to our members in both Eastern and Western Mass sections. This guidance is intended to assure everyone that the new law permits the use of federally licensed two-way radio, provided one hand remains on the steering wheel at all times. Clearly, this is good news.
Oh.
We are pleased to receive this opinion in writing, which states that a person may operate a motor vehicle while using a federally licensed two-way radio or mobile telephone, except as provided in sections 8M, 12A, and 13B, as long as one hand remains on the steering wheel at all times. The statement appears in the first sentence of Section 13 of the Massachusetts General Laws as referred in the final bill. So the amateur radio operators can have their, you have to be federally licensed, which means...
What does that mean? That's my next question, Peter. Thank you for
which means
for going there.
You need this. When you pull up your license on the URL, you get not only your big copy to frame, but you get your little copy, the wallet size.
Right.
You keep it laminated, you keep it in your wallet. This gives you the federal license. There it is.
Nice.
As long as you have that, you're federally licensed. And like Donald was here a couple weeks ago, and he actually has the section in all his cars.
Yes, he does.
The state
he has a copy
law.
of it.
So, but if you have this, and most hams carry this, they pull you over. Oh, you're talking on your radio. Here's my license.
Nice.
I can legally do it as long as I'm not driving with my knees. I can legally.
That's right. That's right. So where might a ham operator find a copy of this law? Is it published on mass.gov? Do you think?
I would think it is.
Yeah.
If not, you can always, I guess, email.
It should be on mass.
Email Ray. In fact, we can ask Ray next week when he's here. But
okay.
KB1LRL, I'm sure he can find us a copy.
Yeah, I think that's very smart, actually, to not only carry a laminated copy of your license, but also a copy of the law that cites the legality of you talking on your two-way radio.
Well, you're not going to find the law now because it doesn't go into effect till February of 2020.
Right. Okay. So right now it's in revisions.
Right now,
okay.
It's just this is what's going to happen, and that's going to be the little disclaimer in it that we can do our thing.
That's incredible. I mean, I think that's incredible.
I'm glad they're adding in hams and that they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're including them into laws and saying, hey, you guys can still go ahead and do your thing on your radio. It's not going to affect you, but please at least have one hand on the steering wheel at all times during operation while you're doing it.
Bare minimum.
I'm glad they're including hams into it and not going, hey, you guys can't get on your radios.
We had the same problem in New York for the cell phone ban in New York. They put the disclaimer in on that, but so there's
precedent.
There's precedent, but I'm not going to give out call signs and names. But there were stories of people who actually been pulled over in New York for being on their HTs and being on their radios.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And couldn't prove that they were federally licensed because they didn't have their little copy of the wallet-sized copy of.
That's right. I got cited. Yeah.
The license that the FCC gives you. That's why the FCC gives you that.
Yeah.
And
so when you print out your license on the URL, Universal Licensing System, you got like I said, the big copy that you should frame and put in your shack,
then
the little copy that you keep on you, your wallet-sized copy, just in case.
Just in case.
Gives you, because that means you are federally licensed. The FCC is a federal organization. We are federally licensed.
You really never know when that's going to come in handy. So,
all right, we're going to drop to commercial here, and then I've got since we're not going to be here Christmas Eve, we're not going to have a Christmas Eve show. I'm going to do a Ham's Night Before Christmas.
Yay!
Because we'll be here Christmas Day. So we will be back.
We will be back. This is Ham on WTBR.
In the early hours after the tsunami, it was ham radio that was on the air, saving lives. When Florida was ripped by hurricanes, the hams were there. In the critical moments after the attack of 9/11, it was the hams who coordinated emergency messages. When disasters strike, the hams are ready. Ham radio works when other communications don't. To learn how you can become a ham radio operator, call the ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio, at 1-800-326-3942.
Berkshire weather. WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Today, mostly cloudy this morning, then becoming mostly sunny. Much colder with highs in the upper 20s. West wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Cold with lows around 15. West wind 15 to 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Wind chill values as low as 0. Thursday, mostly sunny. Cold with highs in the mid-20s. West wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wind chill values as low as 0 in the morning. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay, here's the thing about yellow snow. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Learn how to drive, you moron!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
WTBR. Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
Okay, we can turn that off now. And welcome back to Ham On.
Apparently, the weather cart wanted to go ahead and say hello today.
Apparently, it did. Yes. Okay, our Christmas show is Christmas Day, so we will not be here on Christmas Eve.
No.
So,
sorry.
With that being said, I dug this up.
We're very sorry.
This is the regular Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Thank
you, Susie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Before we went on air, we were talking about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, we were.
And it just popped in.
Yes, we were.
Let's try this again.
Let's try this again.
Because of my wonderful hat.
From the top.
What is the story?
Take two.
Yeah. That Christmas Eve thing everybody talks about.
The night before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas. The night before Christmas. Yes, that was it. Okay, so we're going to go to your story.
I love you so much, but you're so fun. The oldest known ham radio operator, or radio amateurs, they're called. Cliff K. Hart W4KKP achieved his English. Can't read today. Achieved his AARL Centurion Award plaque in November. The award recognizes hams who have achieved Centurion status. For people that don't know what Centurion status means, it means you have reached 100 years old.
Wow.
Like I have.
Right. Like you will.
Like I'm already there.
Physically, not mentally. Physically.
Yeah. Okay, just so we know, our guest is here, sort of.
Kay Hart, who lives in White Rock, South Carolina, is 108 years old. The AARL. Yeah. ARRL. English.
The American Radio Relay League.
And dive back in there.
Can't read today.
Okay. Just summarize.
Board of directors conferred the award on K. Hart. Well, gave him the award at the July meeting.
Okay.
Yay, wonderful.
So we got so the summary is he's 108. He's the oldest ham we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, he served World War II.
Where is he located? Does it say in the article?
White Rock, South Carolina.
White Rock, South Carolina. 108 years old. The oldest
ham.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do this Nightmare Before Christmas or Before Christmas, a ham's night before Christmas, and then we have John on the phone.
Great.
Who we will be talking to here in a few minutes. So John, I hope you're enjoying the show. You're not on air right this second, so we'll have you on air in just a few minutes. So here is a ham's night before Christmas. Maybe.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through 2 meters, not a signal was keying up any repeaters. The antennas reached up from the tower quite high to catch the weak signals that bounced from the sky. The children, technicians, took their HTs to bed and dreamed of the day they'd be extras instead. Mom put on her headphones, I plugged in the key, and we tuned 40 meters for that rare ZK3. When the meter was pegged by a signal with power, it smoked a small diode and I swear shook the tower. Mom yanked off her phones and with all she could muster logged a spot of that signal on the DX packet cluster, while I ran to the window and peered up at the sky to see what could generate RF that high. It was way in the distance, but the moon made it gleam. A flying sleigh with an 8-element beam. And a little old driver. It was too far to tell, but he might have been sent by the ARRL. Then I saw it was Santa, the Santa of hams, on a mission this Christmas to clean up the bands. He circled the tower, then stopped in his track, and he slid down the coax right into the shack. While Mom and I hid behind stacks of CQ, this Santa of hamming knew just what to do. He cleared off the shack desk of paper and parts and filled out all my late QSLs for a start. He ran copper braid, took a steel rod, and pounded it into the earth till the station was grounded. He tightened loose fittings, resoldered connections, cranked down modulation, installed lightning protection. He neutralized tubes in my linear amp. Never worked right before, now it works like a champ. A new low-pass filter cleaned up the TV. He corrected the settings in my TNC. He repaired the computer that wouldn't compute, and he backed up the hard drive and got it to boot. Then he reached really deep in the bag that he brought, and he pulled out a big box. A new rig, I thought, a new Kenwood, an ICOM, a Yaesu for me, an Elecraft, Tentec, or Flex, could it be? If he thought I'd been bad, it might be QRP. Yes, the ultimate station. How could I deserve this? Could be all those weekends I worked public service. He hooked it all up, and in record time, quickly worked 100 countries, all down on 160. I should have been happy. It was my call, he said, but the cards and the postage will cost a month's rent. He made final adjustments and left a card by the key to Gary from Santa Claus, 73. Then he grabbed his HT, looked me straight in the eye, punched a code on the pad, and was gone. No goodbye. I ran back to the station, and the pileup was big, but a card from St. Nick would be worth my new rig. Oh, too late, for his final came over the air. It was copied all over. It was heard everywhere. The ham Santa exclaimed what an old ham expects. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good DX.
Pretty cute.
Since we didn't have a Christmas show, or since we don't have a Christmas Eve show, sitting waiting in the wings on the phone, and I'm not going to even tread your last name because I'm going to hack it, but is John K1UAF, who is the section manager for, I hope, New Hampshire, if I got that right. John, are you with us?
Yes. Hello, Peter. You got that just right. And hello to Jessica and Suzanne.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, John. Good morning.
Well, the first thing I want to do is we never really get time to talk on First Region Net, so congratulations on your newly appointed section manager.
Okay, thank you very much.
And
big congratulations.
You are
sir.
actually the first of the. I have like 3 section managers coming in, so you get the highlight of being the first one on the show with us here. So tell us. What I know you had some training, like 3 days worth of training. So what does it take? First, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, and how you got into ham radio and all that.
Okay, well, I got my first license in 1961.
Wow.
That was back then. There was the novice class, and you could only operate CW. You were limited to 75 watts. In small portions of certain bands. So basically, you were talking to other novices that were limited to those same portions of the band, unless a more advanced operator would pop in to just help you along, things like that. You were limited to CW. That's Morse code, except for a small portion of the 2-meter band where you could operate phone. Anyway, did that for a year. I didn't have my code speed up to pass the general test when my novice license was about to expire. It was only good for 1 year. So I got a technician class license in 1962, and then in the spring of 1963, I did pass the general test. That gave me, back then it was full privileges on all bands. And then a couple years later, they came in with the advanced class license, which so the general requirements went back and were somewhat restricted. Advanced got a little bit more, and extra class got all privileges. So I'd always been interested in technical things, and electronics was an early interest. So from a bunch of us in junior high school just sort of got together and decided we wanted to get our amateur radio licenses, so that's kind of how it happened. I was in and out of the hobby through the years. In the early 70s, I operated mostly 6-meter AM, got involved in traffic nets back then. Then the early 80s, I finally got a sideband rig and got back on HF.
Nice.
And worked, and also 2-meter FM. And again, I was working traffic nets. Back then, I was in Massachusetts, so I got on the Eastern Mass Rhode Island net and the heavy hitters traffic net, even way back then. And then in the 90s, got really busy with work and family and everything else, so I let my license lapse until I moved up here to New Hampshire after I retired and had some extra time, so I retested in January of 2016, and at the same time upgraded to extra, and got back on the air, got involved in local nets, and joined a couple of the clubs up here, and started handling traffic, got involved with NTS again, got an ORS, and got involved.
What's an ORS?
Official relay station.
An official relay station. Can you tell me about what that is?
It's an appointment that recognizes your ability to handle traffic. in the rarely do well on a local net you can pass traffic from one person to another directly.
Right.
But if it's going out of section, you'll have to pass it on to somebody who will take it to another net, like the first region net. And if it's going across country, then it goes to the area net. The area net gets it to another area net, either central or Pacific. And so each step is a relay. So if you are proficient and able to perform that relaying function, the section manager and the section traffic manager will appoint you an official relay station.
We'll dub you an ORS. So that's quite. I mean, that's quite a. I think that's an honor.
I still have ORS from New York. So.
Oh, nice.
So pretty much you're like it's like a big game of telephone in a way.
We'll
when you're passing it.
You're listening to Ham on the Hammiest Hour on radio. In studio here with me, Jessica, and Susie. KC1ILW. I finally get her call sign right.
Nope, that's not right. Actually, it's KC1LIW.
Ha!
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm done. I'm going home. That's it.
And we're here with John Gotthard, who is the
Hey,
newly...
you got it right.
Yeah, I did. The newly appointed New Hampshire section manager, which is I looked up the responsibilities of the section manager, and you have quite a lot on your plate, John.
Don't jump the gun here. We'll get to that. Yes, John is section manager for New Hampshire. Also, he's NCS for First Region Net on 3948 and the Eastern Area Net on 72222. So, John, our next question is, what made you decide to go for section manager for New Hampshire?
Good question.
It is. It is a very good question. What possibly possessed you?
Yeah, I'm still not sure.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet.
Pete Storer, K1PJS, was the former section manager. He had served 3 terms, and last fall he decided he wasn't going to run for another term.
Are there term limits?
There are no term limits.
Oh.
You are elected, and it's for a 2-year term.
I see.
But you can. There are sections like Betsy, K1EIC in Connecticut was section manager there for I think 25 years.
Oh, great!
Oh my goodness.
So there aren't term limits, but you are up for re-election every 2 years.
I see.
So Pete said he wasn't going to run again, and he asked me if I would be interested, and I said, of course not.
What are you, crazy?
But we kept talking, and I was initially reluctant for a number of reasons, but he was able to convince me that I could do the job and should do the job. So I submitted the nomination papers, and turns out I was the only one that did.
Oh,
so
my goodness!
I was declared elected by the folks at the league, since nobody else was running against me.
Well, obviously you're qualified to do that. So great.
Yeah, it's been interesting. My term officially began July 1st, and I made a couple of appointments. I was at that point I had been section traffic manager, and I didn't feel I could do a good job at both positions.
Right.
So I wanted to find a good section traffic manager, and I also appointed a technical coordinator.
Oh, nice.
And I have a couple other people to talk to see if they want to continue on in their current positions or sort of retire, and I'd look for somebody else. So it is a big job, but there are other section-level appointments that help me do that. It's like a staff.
Right.
So the big ones are section emergency coordinator, who directs and manages the amateur radio emergency service in the section, and the section traffic manager, who manages and directs the traffic programs, the traffic handling programs, the nets, and basically makes the ORS appointments and net manager appointments.
See, you mentioned section traffic manager, and I got looked at over here. No. I am Marcia's assistant section traffic manager. I was appointed by KB1.
You're still a section traffic manager.
Anyway, through live radio, John. I know it's not. This is like not one of those appointments like section traffic manager where, hey, you're it, now go do your thing. I think you spent 3 days down in Newington to learn how to do this.
Yeah, back in early October, there was a 3-day, pretty intensive workshop for the section managers that were new in the last 12 months, in the prior 12 months. So
how many of you were there?
There were 8 of us. I think 7 section managers and 1 assistant section manager. I think if you look in QST, there's a picture of the whole group.
Oh, great!
I forget what page, but it's in there somewhere.
Oh, we'll find it.
As far as the responsibilities of a section manager, you can sort of sum it up by saying you're responsible for managing and directing the ARRL field organization programs within your section. We can go. I mean, I don't think we have time to go down through the whole list.
No, we got
but any program
20 minutes or so.
Well,
any program that the ARRL sponsors, you help implement, or you're responsible for implementing within your section.
Are there any ARRL field programs that are unique to your particular section, to New Hampshire for any reason, or are you implementing kind of general?
I mean, each section can do things on their own, but as far as the ARRL programs, they're pretty much the same throughout. Universal throughout all the sections.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's 71 sections in the country.
Oh, wow.
Most states are a section, except the larger populated states. There may be multiple sections. Like in New England, there's 7 sections because Massachusetts has Eastern Mass and Western Mass.
Oh, by the size of the state?
Yeah. I know.
Not the geographic size, but the population density.
I know here in Western Mass that Ray KB1LRL, who's the section manager for Western Mass, is rebuilding the Aries program here. How is your Aries program going up in New Hampshire?
It's running pretty well. Wayne, N1CKM, has been SEC for a number of years, has done a good job, has built a good team of emergency coordinators for the local groups, and again, they're responsible for building the team within their local area, and each one has its own particular characteristics. There's, the geography of New Hampshire varies greatly from, coastal to, southern New Hampshire is pretty flat, and then you get into the lakes region and then up into the mountains. So there's lots of
sounds very beautiful
individual problems that emergency communicators have based on where they're located.
Right.
I got a message from your buddy James N1PZP last night, who's listening on TuneIn right now. He says, "Say hi to John, and I made it into Florida safely."
Okay. Thanks, James, and We'll talk to you soon.
So
I know he's going to be on later on when directly from Hamcation. That should be an
Yes, he is actually going to call in live and give us a live update on what's going on in Hamcation in Florida in February. I booked this stuff so well.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier. Raya's coming in April for the Hudson District Director for the ARRL. So my big question is, because I know section manager involves a lot and a lot of positions to fill and a lot of emails to answer, how do you balance doing all the section manager stuff with First Region Net and the Eastern Area Net, because we talk for a couple of minutes on there like almost every day?
That's what I'm working out now. It's not easy. I have to work all this other stuff into my routine, and it's been a little bit of a struggle, but I'm making some progress. So I guess that's the hardest part of the job is making sure I have set aside time to do what I need to do for the section.
So
and headquarters.
So are there any positions that still need to be filled? Because I know I'm pretty sure we have some listeners up in New Hampshire through TuneIn and through the YouTube channel and that. But do you have any positions that you are still looking to fill?
Yes, the public information coordinator for the section is open. So I'm looking for somebody who could help fill that position.
What is?
The public information coordinator, it just handles or helps with coordinating with primarily with public media. Getting in June we had the state legislature declared June Amateur Radio Month. So making that kind of a news item and getting a press release out, things like that. Field Day is always a fun time, and the one year one of the local TV stations did a special on like a little not really news, but a special interest story, and broadcast it.
One of those little news snippets.
They're affiliated with Channel 5 in Boston, so they have a Chronicle show similar to the Channel 5 Chronicle. So they aired it as part of that, and that was really interesting. They just focused on one particular club's Field Day operation and talked to a bunch of people there and sort of explained what Field Day is and all of that kind of stuff.
Sounds amazing.
Field Day is a blast.
Yeah, Field Day is great.
It's a blast.
Can you tell us what happened during those 3 days in Newington, Connecticut?
Yeah,
or is that classified information from the ARRL?
Right,
yeah.
Secret. Very esoteric teachings.
We had a complete tour of the facility and met a lot of most of the staff that works at headquarters. We had a number of presentations by various headquarters staff as to what their function was and what they could do for us. But I think one of the most valuable parts was meeting other new section managers and just talking to them about how they're approaching their section, what kind of programs they're promoting, and how they're getting the word out, and things like that. So meeting the other section managers that were new to the position was, I think, the most valuable part of the get-together.
Now, is there like a meeting where you meet like the current section managers, like you would get together with KB1 LRL Ray or K2QI John Fritzy? Is there like a section manager get together at some point?
Nothing official.
Nothing formal.
But I try to, like at Foxborough, I try to round up Ray and Tom and Paul from Rhode Island, whoever is there, and just, if not all together, at least individually, just chat a little bit. And at Dayton Hamvention, there's generally a section manager get together. I've never been. I'm thinking maybe trying to get out there this year. So that's I think as close to an official section manager gathering that I've heard about.
It sounds like it'd be very valuable experience.
You should make Marcia's picnic one year, because I know Ray was out there. She has her. Why are you looking at me? She has her. Marcia KW1U,
okay.
who's the section traffic manager for.
You're talking about Marcia's picnic, like everybody knows about this. So.
She sends emails. I'm pretty. John, you know about Marcia's picnic.
Do you know about Marcia's picnic, John?
I've been there every year since 2016.
Oh, geez. All right.
Okay, so wait a minute.
Can I go to Marcia's picnic?
Wait a minute. So we may have met.
We did.
We did.
Oh.
Yep.
2 years ago at Marcia's picnic.
Fabulous.
Cool. Yeah.
When Bruce took you and
you have to,
Mom.
You have to get on Marcia's mailing list. It's a traffic handling picnic. You're not traffic handling.
I'm not. I'm just I'm just interested in learning as much as possible. So I'd love to geek out with whoever.
Among my other duties besides this radio show, I've got like 5 nets I jump into between the Heavy Hitters Traffic Net, Cycle 1, Cycle 2 of the Western Mass Traffic Net. In fact, NCSing today when I get home, the First Region Net on HF and EAN on HF. So and then the Heavy Hitters Net again tonight. So there's a lot on my plate besides the radio show here. So
sure.
And if you hook up with Marcia and she has a nice little picnic, and we get Laura Wren there, N1IQI, which we get a ton of traffic for, and I didn't even know John was there. So we met John. And a few other people. That's nice to get together. So we're going to go to commercial here real quick, and then we'll let John tell us what exactly entails being a section manager.
Yeah, and I've got a few questions as well.
And Susie's got a few questions. So stick around, John.
Couple softballs.
We'll come back to you right after the commercial break.
Okay, I'll be here.
All right, good.
And you're listening to Ham on WTBR, guys.
You wanna go? All of you who wanna go to college, wanna go? You best listen to this knowledge. Listen, you gotta be a go-getter, 'cause it's hard to get there. Get up in their face, get up in their space, so ask for help and do not stop. Know how to go, that's it, let's rock.
That was Farnsworth Bentley with Wanna Go. For more college info, visit knowhowtogo.org. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Berkshire weather.
WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Today, mostly cloudy this morning, then becoming mostly sunny. Much colder with highs in the upper 20s. West wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Cold with lows around 15. West wind 15 to 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Wind chill values as low as 0. Thursday, mostly sunny. Cold with highs in the mid-20s. West wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wind chill values as low as 0 in the morning. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
Remember the time you almost volunteered to work in a soup kitchen? Or when you almost visited the Veterans Hospital? Or when you almost brought dinner to your neighbor with AIDS? Remember all the times you almost helped, almost gave? Well, it's only human, this almost giving. But the truth is, it's the same as not giving at all. Don't almost give, give. Visit our website at don'talmostgive.org. A message from the Ad Council. WTBR.
Captain Kirk, there are Klingon soldiers on this station.
And we are back on Ham On WTBR FM with me, Peter, Jesse, and Susie. And John, K1UAF, who's the section manager for...
Newly appointed section manager. As of July 1st.
So you said you had, before we get into all his duties, which will take up pretty much the rest of our time, you had a few questions to lob at him.
I do. I have one particular one. John, you were talking about... how interesting and beneficial it was for you to get together with the other section managers and talk about how they approach their job and also what programs they're promoting. And so my question is, in your section, are you or how are you promoting new female members to the art and science of ham radio? Do you have some kind of a Women in Radio directive at all, or any particular program by the ARRL, or is this something that that you would create yourself? Does that?
Yeah, I right now we don't have a specific program.
Right.
But let me talk a little bit about the ARRL.
Sure.
First of all, we wouldn't have amateur radio as we know it today without the ARRL. In fact, after World War I, we almost lost it completely.
Right. This is what I'm learning. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of their primary benefits to the amateur radio community is their ability to work with legislators and the FCC to promote amateur radio within the entire community to make sure that
I see.
Restrictions, unreasonable restrictions are not put on the people that participate in the hobby. And the reason for that is that it is a resource. We have a pool of trained technicians, radio operators, experimenters, also goodwill ambassadors. Ham radio operators operate contact stations around the world, and in doing so, just you learn about each other's countries and customs and culture, geography. You can't help but learn that just in casual conversation,
of course,
with another amateur radio operator in another country.
Yes.
So I see the hobby crossing all boundaries.
I love that.
So I guess I don't see a specific program saying let's get women specifically involved. There are a few like the YLRL,
right?
A few,
sort of specifically targeted groups, yes.
Right.
But what you're saying is you're operating from a place of inclusivity.
Yes.
That's great. I love to hear that.
Yep. Total inclusivity. And a lot of the, down to earth or feet on the ground types of programs are done by the radio clubs themselves.
Right. I see.
So there's one club here that has a fantastic program promoting amateur radio in the schools.
Oh,
and there
nice.
are
Great.
a lot of young women
Seriously?
involved in that program.
I'll bet
in fact,
there are.
There was a 10-year-old at Boxborough this year that had just gotten her extra class license.
Amazing.
A 10-year-old
Amazing.
as an
Yes.
extra? Oh, my goodness.
I might have seen a reference to that somewhere.
Anyway,
That's a big deal.
So my job as section manager is to help those local groups with their activities promoting the hobby across the spectrum of people that would be interested and could benefit from getting involved in the hobby. So
well, that's great. So you're coming in and you are effectively supporting each local group's mission and specific ideas and
yes,
yeah,
and I guess the one thing I would like to sort of pass on is that ham radio is a whole lot of fun.
It is so much fun.
And there's so many different aspects of it. There's something that almost anybody could find enjoyable. There's contacting people in other countries, working distance stations. We call it DX, which is the abbreviation for distance. There's participating in contests, seeing how many different stations you can contact within a given time period. There's a number of different ones based on different bands, different modes of operation. Field day, which is pretty much practice for emergency communications, because you go into the field and start from nothing and build a station out in the middle of a field, put up antennas, get your solar panels or generators going, and work 24 hours talking to other stations that are doing the same thing. So all kinds of contests, all kinds of operating events. People go. There was a National Parks on the Air, but now it's just a General Parks on the Air event where you go to a national park or state park and contact other people, and they get credit for contacting the park. You get credit for activating the park.
That's amazing.
Awesome. There's islands on the air, summits on the air, all kinds of different operating events. QSO parties where usually a state QSO party will have a weekend where they're on the air to make any, if somebody needs that state for their Worked All States Award, they know that weekend there'll be a bunch of people from that state on, and they can try to work for that. And then there's all these awards, special events, museum ships on the air, lighthouses on the air. It just goes on, and
so interesting.
And then there's the public service aspect, emergency communications and traffic handling, the two primary pillars of public service. Mm-hmm. And you can participate in scheduled public service events like parades, walkathons, marathons, bike races, canoe races, and up here we have sled dog races. So,
oh my goodness!
Right, John, okay, we're running out of time here. We got about 2 minutes.
It's a whole lot of fun for everybody. That's kind of what I just wanted to make sure I made that point.
John, thank you.
It's a great point, and I'm glad you went down that list and illuminated the possibilities.
And this is why we need a longer time on the radio. John, thanks for being here.
We could talk for a while.
You were a marvelous guest. Thanks for agreeing
so much, John.
Come in and talk to us about amateur radio on WTBR FM, and we will talk to you, I guess, this afternoon on FRN.
Sure enough.
All right, John, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Peter, and thank you, Jessica and Susie also.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank you
Hope
for
to
your
meet
time,
you in
sir.
person someday.
Like we do on FRN, K1UAF, KD2JKV, 7-3.
7-3, K1UAF clear.
All right, that was good. That was
And
cool.
for people that don't know what 73 means, it means goodbye.
Yeah.
For those at home wondering, what does 73 mean?
You said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
Okay, real quick, Susie, thanks for being here as always. Next week, KB1LRL will be here. Jesse, thanks here. You've been listening to Ham on a WTBR FM, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. We will be back next week.
See you later, guys.